a man who had performance enhancing drugs in his system. Whether, I believe everybody should have the right to protest their innocence. Unfortunately, in this situation, it's guilty until proven innocent. I've been there, right? But one thing we 100% know in this situation.
This morning, man, to make the way how he's done it, you know, on the morning of a fight, it's just wrong. It's dangerous, and the board are now in a situation where they think shit. So I don't.
You know, like that is my goal. I want to nail everybody to the canvas. So you know, the goal is just to go in there and beat them dominantly. Like there's no doubt in anybody's mind that I want to fight. You know, but I am trying to put him on his ass. So if I could do that, I most definitely am.
Eddie said to me yesterday at 60-40, so we don't know. I don't know if that is the case and he's failed a sample for cocaine. That's really surprising, massively surprising.
Got caught taking drugs, hear your charge. It's like fucking murder. If you fucking murder.
Obviously, at the moment, the British Boxing Board of Control aren't. So we have to speak with them, deal with the legal situation and see where it lands. And this is quite fresh. Obviously, I don't even think it's 30 minutes. I think it's more like 10 or 15 minutes since that. And, you know, we'll see what rolls on there.
He's been test positive. Yeah.
It's happened, man. It happens in this sport. It's not new. It's happened to me already. I'm just happy I invest in this
high-profile guys getting caught, and it's just horrible. Genuinely, and I know you without saying, without going fucking fully mental here, I just believe if you're caught with any performance-enhancing drug, you should be banned. Like
when a test goes through and it goes to VADA, it's going to VADA. It ain't going to get mixed up. So he's done this, and if he's cheated, he's a piece of shit.
How can he give a sample and then a B sample, and they both come back positive for a banned substance?
I'm just chucking out there. If depending on the amount, that will depend on how long it remains in your system. So from what I can gather, if you've taken a very limited amount, very little amounts, it could stay in your system. Depending on the nature of the test, if it was a saliva test, if it was a urine test, if it was a hair test, it's going to stay in your system a lot longer.
And I'll wait and see what happens. I mean, I don't know the findings. We don't know. I haven't seen statements really. I don't know. It's come out in the
breaking news. I'm filming this just coming up to midday. By the time you guys are watching it, it's probably not breaking. But Queensbury have just
shocking when any fighter fails a performance enhancing drug test. It's
I honestly thought this is the perfect opponent for Moses' development. You can't rush Moses. I know everyone wants to see him in there with killers. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I think he's ready. But the fact is, you do have to take your time with Moses. And I think someone like a Jermaine Franklin, who is a top 30 guy, top 30 guy, who again, we've seen him with AJ and Dillian Whyte, so we can compare Moses' performance against him.
Moses Itauma just failed a drug test on fight day, and the entire boxing world is absolutely losing their minds. This isn't some random supplement mix-up. This is a banned substance showing up when it matters most.
This is going to be a case of, let's see, 1, if we can get rounds. 2, can he do a better job than Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte did? Can he get rounds but also get him out of there? I guess that's kind of the question for Moses. But for me, this is the perfect bit of matchmaking. This is everything that fight fans have wanted. They want to see what happens when Moses Itauma goes a few rounds. Has someone...
Boxing pros are calling it the most disrespectful thing they've seen in years. You don't just accidentally pop hot hours before you're supposed to step in the ring. This is either complete negligence or something way worse.
I think we put together a brilliant fight with Jermaine Franklin, the American. It's going to be a good fight. I think, with Moses and him, I think it's going to be a good fight, and I think it's a good test for Moses.
Here's what nobody's talking about, though. Jermaine Franklin just got handed the biggest gift of his career. His opponent is now fighting under a cloud of controversy, and Franklin, he looks squeaky clean by comparison.
If it's somehow in his system from other means, I know that might sound crazy, but I guess we have to give him the benefit of the doubt, do we? I'd like to think we do. But yeah, this is wild. Honestly, this is...
The experts are scrambling to figure out how this even happens. They're breaking down detection windows, dosages, sample types. But here's the kicker. None of that matters if the fight gets pulled entirely.
It's trying to enlighten people in the world today that it is illegal to use his steroids, and that's what he's doing to gain an edge. Well, I feel sorry for him.
Adam Smith just dropped some real talk about this mess. The uncertainty is killing everyone. Officials are meeting behind closed doors while Franklin sits there knowing he might not even get to fight. That's got to be messing with his head.
I think that Jermaine Franklin versus Moses Itauma is a really, really good fight for Itauma's progression. I think he's a solid opponent. I've got no issues whatsoever. It's on a very, very good card. No mention of pay-per-view as well, which is even better. But it's a solid opponent. Jermaine Franklin, when he fought Dylan White, going into that fight, I kind of looked at him and thought, he looked awkward, but nothing special. He gave a good account of himself against Dylan White. Some people actually felt that he did enough to win the fight. I wasn't one of them. I thought Dylan White won.
But get this, stylistically, this whole drama might actually favor Franklin. Ade Oldipo pointed out that Franklin's aggressive approach was already a problem for Moses. Now add the mental pressure of this scandal, Franklin's looking dangerous.
50-50. Personally, it depends on what style he brings. So it's like, I think if he's like measured, then yeah. But if he does what I think he might try and do, which is I'm gonna show this guy, get inside and work like clever shots, I don't think so. I think with someone like Moses, who is naturally so explosive and so quick and technical, he's got so many good attributes, but as we've seen with in any sport, across any profession, that explosiveness, in my opinion, cannot happen for 12 rounds. It never happened.
Adam Catterall isn't holding back either. He's calling Moses' situation shocking and disappointing. The violation has boxing pros and fans absolutely furious. Franklin walks into this fight with a massive moral advantage now.
I think Moses is one of the best young fighters boxing has seen in years. And I'm not just saying that based on a result over Dillian. I hope you understand that when I look at a fighter, I'm looking at things that others don't see. I'm not looking at the hype. I'm looking at what he does in the ring, how he does it, his skill set. You know, I'm looking at that because that's the important stuff. And right now, to me,
Frank Warren sees this as the perfect storm for Franklin, though. He's praising Franklin as a high-level opponent who was already going to test Moses. Now, with all this chaos, Franklin's got every advantage you could ask for.
Knocked out. I do. I think I just know, and by the way, saying someone's going to get knocked out is not meant to be disrespectful. I'm not disrespecting Jermaine. I'm looking at the fight, looking at Moses Itauma, looking at what I've seen from Jermaine, and I think that ideally, I don't want to see an early fight. I want to see a good fight. I want to see Jermaine stick.
John Fury went completely off on Moses for this. He's talking about cheating, unfair advantages, the whole 9 yards. Meanwhile, Franklin's team is probably loving every second of this. Their guy looks like the clean, ethical fighter.
On the block, Moses Itauma, who looks absolutely extraordinary, and for me, he ticks all the boxes. I like his attitude, I like his style, southpaw, hard-hitting, moves so well. He's going to be very, very difficult to sort of deter. So it's an interesting one because, yeah, is this too soon for Moses, or is this just the right fight at the right time?
The fallout. Even the analysts who still respect Moses' skill set are admitting Franklin's in the driver's seat now. Simon Jordan thinks Moses could still get a knockout, but acknowledges Franklin's mental edge is huge right now. So here's where we stand. Moses failed his drug test, the boxing world is in chaos, and Franklin just became the most sympathetic figure in heavyweight boxing. This fight was supposed to test both men's skills. Instead, it's become a referendum on integrity versus talent. Who do you think comes out on top if this fight actually happens, the controversial talent or the clean underdog? Drop your prediction in the comments. Smash that like button if this breakdown opened your eyes, and subscribe because this heavyweight division is about to get even crazier. But wait, there's another angle nobody's considering here. What if this whole situation actually backfires on Franklin? Think about it. Everyone's already writing Moses off, calling him done, saying his career is over. That's exactly the kind of pressure that creates the most dangerous version of a fighter. History is littered with boxers who fought their best fights when their backs were against the wall. Look at what happened with Shane Mosley after his BALCO scandal. Or how about when fighters come back from prison, from personal disasters, from career-ending injuries? Sometimes rock bottom becomes the foundation for greatness. Moses knows the entire world is watching him fail right now. Every boxing journalist, every fan, every fighter in the division is waiting for him to crumble under this pressure. But here's what's terrifying. What if he doesn't crumble? What if this controversy turns him into something even more dangerous than he was before? Franklin's team better be preparing for a completely different fighter than they studied on tape. Because the Moses who shows up to this fight isn't going to be the same guy who was coasting on natural talent. This is going to be a man with absolutely nothing left to lose and everything to prove. The psychological warfare is already starting too. Moses Camp isn't staying quiet about this. They're pushing back hard, talking about contaminated supplements, tainted samples, conspiracy theories. Whether you believe them or not doesn't matter. What matters is Moses clearly believes he's been wronged. And a fighter who thinks the whole world is against him, that's a dangerous animal to corner. Franklin walked into this thinking he had the perfect setup. Clean reputation, moral high ground, opponent distracted by scandal. But championship-level fighters don't just roll over and die because of bad headlines. They use that anger, that humiliation, that desperation as fuel. And Moses has enough skill to be absolutely lethal when he's properly motivated.